Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Journey to the Farlands and the first episode of 2024. A brand new year, as the splash screen would suggest. But yeah, I guess we'll get right back into the world because it's been a few days, and I'm gonna finally begin what I've kind of been meaning to begin, which is what the next, hopefully the next, well over half a year is gonna be, is kind of getting on with things a little bit with the journey. Kind of actually getting a move on and getting my butt in gear after taking a bunch of days off over the past few weeks. So yeah, I'm back, and I do plan on doing daily episodes, well, to the best of my ability, and trying to slowly, well, actually a bit less slow than last year, but a bit, start to speed things up. That's kind of the whole premise of things going on now. Um, so yeah, that'll be like this, marking the start of 2024 as like the year that I actually do stuff in this series. I had a full year, all of 2023. I walked, and I made it. What? How far did I make it? Let me check my notebook. Hopefully my coordinates are synced up. Let me make sure before I get too far. 478, 78, 83. Let me quickly go through my previous episode that I uploaded. Oh, yeah, new craft returning. Yes, I got a few things to talk about in today's episode. Of course, I kind of left you off with Newcraft a few days ago, and I haven't uploaded any videos since. But I'm sure as you're watching this, or like soon thereafter, probably tomorrow. For me, I guess it's the first right now still, but probably on the 2nd of January, so tomorrow, I'm gonna upload the first episode of Newcraft, which is the SMP that I've started up again. It kind of happened before, now it's happening again. It's a rebirth of sorts for it, and yeah, I've edited it, I've compiled it. It's a bit messy, the first part, but it's okay. It works. It gets the point across for day one. I've got a proper first episode that I've recorded the day after that. That'll probably be getting uploaded hopefully soon. Hopefully throughout the maybe at the end of the week or something. You know, I'm trying to be realistic here, but that's kind of the plan, is to release both episodes this week, ideally, and have I think tomorrow I'm going to film episode 2. Perhaps, or maybe within the next few days. I know I'm gonna play on the server. I just don't know if I'm gonna stream, or when exactly I'm gonna stream, because I do want to try and get the starter base started. I should actually be on track to doing that very soon. I won't spoil too much because I'm sure people watching this have not seen it, but I'm going to be starting my starter base in episode 2. So the first few episodes are kind of just preface for everything, and just the beginning of world grind as per the usual. But I'm really looking forward to things. I think this has a real shot, as I mentioned in the first, or as in episode 0, that it will be coming out in a few hours, or like within the next day, hopefully. But yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun it's been so far, in like the last few days that the first few days it's been open. But yeah, it's been a busy week and a bit now, I guess, since all the holidays are kind of over now. Now it's the new year, and there's not really a whole lot else. I just have quite a bit more time on my hands, so there's still going to be a bit of a backlog coming back for Journey to the Farlands, and I might even do a hardcore episode again very soon. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what this new year has in store. I would be, I guess, remiss in mentioning my whole goal about reaching the Farlands this year, which I'm not gonna stop trying to do that. I'm definitely gonna keep trying, but of course, it's how far. I mean, I haven't done the actual calculation to see how many blocks I have, so I guess this is a good enough time as any. The first episode of the new year to really get down to the nitty gritty to how much work I have to do. 4.7 million 800 and or 4,784,238 minus 12,550. Right. Okay. So yeah, we have about 7.8 million blocks. That's a lot of blocks actually. That's just under 8 million. But so yeah, it's gonna be a lot, and I ideally think it'd be kind of cool to reach the Farlands around Farland Anniversary 2, which should be August. But that's a lot for 8 months of the year. 8 months, 8 million, a million a month. That's gonna be quite the challenge, but I could certainly accept a challenge. It doesn't mean I'm going to succeed in it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna try though. Maybe if I don't get to the Farlands, I'll have at least a good foot forward for after that when I get more busy, and that's not as big of a pill to swallow for reaching the Farlands and whatnot. I very full well intend to reach the Farlands at some point. I'm really keen on that. Of course, 250 episodes in, you darn well hope I would be keen on reaching the Farlands at this point. Just give up after episode 300, like, come on. I'm very keen on reaching the Farlands, so hopefully that hammers my point home a bit. Oh yeah, my chest plate broke as well. I'm almost completely out of diamonds. So we're almost back to being poor. Back to just having iron gear, which is fine, I guess. I've gone long periods of time with only iron. Being here now reminds me of a year ago when I was at Outpost 1. I can't believe Outpost 1 now is a year ago. I remember when, of course, the start of the journey back in August of 2022 was a year ago, and now it's gone by. And well, I think the fall of last year wasn't quite as efficient as 2022's fall, for at least for progress and Journey to the Farlands. I think I've got a good chance of making things at least a bit better, a bit easier on myself. Hello, Cherry. Oh, you're sick? That's too bad. Hopefully you start feeling better soon. There's been a lot of stuff going around, like especially where I am too. I have a lot of people who've been getting sick. So yeah, I feel for you. I don't think I've been sick. I had allergies. Oh, and we got our first snow as well. I didn't mention that. That was just yesterday we got our first snow. Well, like properly. Like it's actually on the ground now. It didn't just melt after like a few hours. Looks like the snow's here to stay. Finally. Like went almost the whole month of December, and then on the last day we get like a sheet of snow. I wake up to like snow. Like, oh, that's quite the dusting of snow. And that was the day I worked. I hadn't worked for a good while before that, or at least quite a long shift as that was, which was an 8-hour. Oh, yesterday was quite the day. Just been laying down watching TV for the past few days. Yeah. That's I guess all you really can do. I hope snow. Yeah, snow's nice. It's nice to look at. When you have to work out in it, like I did yesterday, that was a bit of a different story. But it's nice to have snow, though. It was kind of weird to go an entire December and have a green Christmas, which I think is unheard of in a lot of places, like in and around Ontario and stuff. a green Christmas is pretty unheard of. Like like the last few years, it's been like very cold winters and like lots of snow, but it's nice thin layer. It almost feels like how spring would feel, and yet it was like mid to late December. It was the weirdest thing. That's how it is in Minnesota too. They just also got green Christmas is the norm for me. Yeah, well, of course it is. Well, I guess yours is. Yeah, no, that's true. Well, white Christmas is the norm for me. So it was a bit out of the norm to actually not have any snow. To like look out on Christmas Day and for there to be absolutely no snow. And the grass, it was green. People were even mowing their lawns. Well, it's not really green because the grass is dead, so it's like beige Christmas. There was green patches like in some places. It was definitely more of like a beige. I called it a brown Christmas. I was like, oh. It was more of like a beige Christmas though. Yeah, I'd agree. Because everything looked all dead still. Because it's not like it's gonna come back to life in like such a short amount of time. And also, there was also, I know plants in people's gardens, or not gardens, but like plants in people's yards or gardens that were blooming. It's pretty wild for this time of year. Still got it. Oh. Right. Well, I do need wool, but not black wool. I'm saving inventory space. I got a good deal of materials. I'm good. I also am in need of arrows. Maybe I'll grab a flint here. Just want to take care of this creeper before it ruins my day. Okay, I'll make sure I can. Starting off the, I don't even know what I guess to say, but or what to call it, but just starting off like the whole like efficient year for Journey to the Farlands, or at least where my aim is to reach the Farlands in the year. Just given my past, just given my track record, it's a bit much, but yeah, Happy New Year, of course, yeah. Yes. The Minecraft splash screen is always just, it's always on, it's always just so accurate, because when I did the stream on Christmas Eve, basically my Christmas like stream on Christmas Eve, it said Happy Xmas and then, or Merry Xmas, and then today it showed Happy New Year, so. Pretty accurate. Okay, I'll do it progressively. I won't stick around the same area for too long. And really the only solution to like streaming or to like the Journey to the Farlands issue of not walking or going quick enough is basically just streaming more. It's just time. It's a time investment. So I'm just gonna be investing more time in Journey to the Farlands, I guess, as time goes on. As my schedule frees up before everything becomes busy again in the fall. So I'm just gonna be slowly but surely working my way. I think around 4.3 blocks a second. I think that's actually the speed of the player. This year's gonna be so busy for me. Yeah, it's gonna be a busy year for me too. It really is. Last year was kind of an odd year for everything because of course things didn't really go fully to plan for me, or at least they did, but they didn't go how like you'd usually expect it to go. A lot of stuff happened, so I'm glad that I'm kind of in the new year and it's a bit of a clean slate. Not quite a full clean slate, of course, but it's gonna be a lot more clean after this month. This is like the last month of mess, and then the true chaos begins. Oh, maybe I got a good screenshot worthy landmark right here. So yeah, the average stream length for Journey of the Farlands is going to start shooting up. So yeah, it's going to be a bit more of a haul as time goes on. Ideally. Well, I got like a stack of. How did I even? Oh, it's fine. Okay. Don't even know why I do the F3 screenshots anymore. I know I'm for sure not going to be going back to any of these. I think it's just habit now. I did it at the beginning because I was like, oh, maybe I want to check out some of the first landmarks, but like 4.5 or 4.7 million blocks in, really? That's, you want to check out this random hill out of like one of the thousands of other hills you're going to encounter. Name probably million, not thousands, but tens of thousands, maybe even. So yeah, my current plan right now is to do 1 million blocks per month. Or if this month ends up being a bit of a drag, then I'll bunch this into, or kind of divide this into summer and kind of have summer be a bit more bulky, even though I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll probably be doing longer streams. If I do get actually close to the Farlands, I'll probably do longer streams as I get closer. So then it's like even less. So that's kind of also going to play into things. I don't really know, 1 million. How much is that per day? It's just under 1 million per month though. I don't have to do exactly 1 million. Divided by about 31 days. 32,000 blocks. Yeah, that's a lot of walking per day. But it's not impossible. It just means that there's going to be a lot of Journey to the Farlands this year. It'd be kind of cool to reach the Farlands though. Because I honestly don't know. I don't know when I'd get to the Farlands if I didn't rush things this year. And by rush things, I mean just do them the way I want them to be done. Also, my edited episode 0 of Newcraft should release tomorrow, which is nice. And then episode 1, which I filmed, that was the one you were in Cherry, that one will release later in the week, so that's nice. I'll probably even have a third episode, or a second episode, on the way as well. And I'll probably film that tomorrow, because I want to play a bit more. Newcraft's going well. But yeah, I need to play Newcraft. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna also be doing that as well. So it might, during the Farlands, might not fully be like as crazy as I intend it to be. It might be just a little bit less crazy, just because I want to also put attention into Newcraft. And by put attention, I mean seriously, kind of make it a consistent effort, rather than whatever ridiculous attempts I've put into previous SMPs. So yeah, there's a lot of expectation that I have set this year that it could come crashing down, and it won't be as probably that big of a deal, honestly. But it might have been since I've been sick and binge watching Scooby Doo. Yeah, no, that's the way to go when you're sick. Just watch TV. But I remember, oh yeah, peak COVID for me was crazy. That was like the sickest I've been. Of course, I don't really have much else to. I guess I've had like colds and stuff. I had a cold, I think September of last year. I don't remember. It's all like in the episodes. Like I'm always like very on about already talking about that stuff in the episodes. So it's like every time I've been sick, I make an effort to mention it. Yeah, I watch. Yeah, I'd usually be in bed watching TV or whatever too. So I don't blame you. It's no fun. Don't really feel like doing anything. Usually most of the time I'm like, oh, about most things anyway. When I was little, I'd get strep throat at least once a month. Oh wow. I only had strep throat once. That was already trouble enough. But I guess I'm lucky. Although I was very sick as an infant, although I don't remember. I was apparently almost deathly ill as an infant, so I guess I've had my history with illness. I guess it was more of a deficiency than an illness, but I think it had to do with vitamins and stuff. But yeah, it was an interesting time that I can't really recant on. And then they took my tonsils. I never got my tonsils removed. I never had like tonsillitis or anything. I did have strep, but I never had like issues with my tonsils. I know plenty of people typically do get them removed, but I've just never had that be an issue. Same thing with wisdom teeth though as well. I've never had my wisdom teeth removed. Tonsils and wisdom teeth remain. I don't remember if my brother ever got wisdom teeth removed. I don't really keep track of that kind of thing. Go figure. That was my first ever surgery. I can't say I've ever been in surgery. Maybe of course from when I was an infant, but of course I wouldn't recall that. My dad always brags about, or kind of like, is always like, oh, I've never spent a night in a hospital before. It's always like a knock on wood kind of thing, especially as he's been getting older, but I have my wisdom teeth for now anyway, yeah. I've been lucky, of course, for now. You never know what life has to throw at you. It's just the way things go. You just kind of got to roll with it, as you'd expect. You're dealt a bad hand, and it sucks. It really does. I've had 3 surgeries. I can't recall many that I've had, like at least in like I've had like checkups, and I don't know if I've spent a night in a hospital. Definitely, like I said, I can't really recall like when I was young. Like I don't think I was very that sick when I was a kid, other than the infant thing. I was a very reckless child, so the emergency room was very familiar to me. Yeah, I was not reckless by any means. I was a very calm and sheltered child. So I never got into trouble or was reckless by any means. Although I guess that plays into how I am now. I'm very subdued most of the time anyway. Guess that just comes from being a quiet kid. And then becoming a quiet teenager. And then becoming a quiet adult. I can be a bit more vocal and chatty, but I definitely... What is that? Oh, that's clay. I was like super weird. I was like with like the ice. I thought there was collision going on or something, but no. I just kind of did stupid stuff. Yeah. No, you do. Yeah, kids be kids. So I definitely. I can't say that I didn't do that kind of stuff either. But like, I guess I didn't. I don't know. I definitely remember stupid stories about stuff I did when I was young. Yeah. I think everyone's got those to some capacity. So yeah, I guess my first goal for today is to make it to 4.8 million, which is around is that 14,000 blocks to start? Not too shabby. I might try and do a bit of a later stream, so you can definitely go, and then I'll do my no commentary or whatever. Or just keep chatting if I can keep thinking of stuff. But yeah, I definitely want to see if I can get the ball rolling. I think starting the roll will be definitely a good idea. Starting it while I can. Then I might even do it earlier in the day, so then I for sure have like the time allotted to do the full episode. So there'll be a lot of no commentary long episodes coming up. Not quite summer long, like 8 to 12 hour long. I mean like a few hours, probably. I'm not that crazy right now. Maybe as I get closer, I will get a bit more crazy, being like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna reach the Farlands. But for now, we'll keep it simple. As simple as I can keep it for the time being. So I guess by the end of this month, my goal is to be around 5.5 million, which sounds pretty crazy for me considering I was at like a million blocks ago was like forever ago. So to do that in like 1 month is rather bold, but I'll see just how well I can hold true to that promise. It might be a bit of a stretch. I don't have water. I left my water upstairs. That's fine. I can survive. I drank like a lot of water anyway. Before this, I was finishing a TV show. Finally managed to finish a TV show I wanted to finish for a while. So I got that sorted. One less thing I have to worry about. I still have like I guess, yeah, we'll see about the other stuff, but I don't know, I'll find stuff to binge or whatever. So bad at watching TV shows? Oh, me too. Oh, I don't need a bed. Just one of those moments. Oh, you could just have a floating bed. No, I don't need one of those. So sometimes the autopilot kicks in real hard, and then when I get a chance to binge them, I watch stupid stuff like Scooby-Doo. Yeah, it's funny that I can watch like the entirety of like SpongeBob or whatever. Like I did that like a year or a while ago. I did it like really quickly. That was like well over 12 seasons, and then Doctor Who was just something that I really slowly watched. I even still slowly watch it. I'm probably gonna stop watching it for the time being until I get enough boredom to go back to it. Like, you know, your curiosity. Just because I kind of don't really want to pay for the BritBox if I'm not gonna watch it anymore. So I think I got about another month of it. So I'll probably spend the next month binging Doctor Who, but I don't know how far I'll get in it. I ideally want to at least finish the current Doctor I'm on. So then, if I were to go back to it, then I'd have like the 4th Doctor or whatever after that. Although the 4th Doctor is like probably everyone's like favorite classic Doctor, other than the 2nd Doctor. So, or you know, is it the 4th or the 5th? Well, it's the 4th, yeah, because the 5th is the young one. I thought the 5th or the 4th was the young one, but no, the 4th is Tom Baker, that's right. So we'll see if I get hooked into the show as I watch it again. But it's like well over a year. Like I started watching that only like a few months into Journey to the Farlands, and I'm only like 7 seasons into that show. It's like the British One Piece. That's me with Game of Thrones. I watched the first 4 seasons and then never watched another episode. Yeah, I'm just very slow. Like I watch it in bits, like ebbs and flows. Essentially, like I like I started with like the first Doctor and that was pretty steady, and then I got to the second Doctor and it got really. It wasn't even because it was like a bad Doctor or anything. Like the second Doctor is probably one of my favorites. Well, out of the 3 is probably my favorite so far. I haven't seen enough of the third to say he's my favorite yet, but it's just, yeah, it just ebbs and flows. I kind of just feel like watching it sometimes, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't really watch stuff right now. Well, of course, there's no Hermitcraft for me to watch, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to watch, like whether it be other Hermitcraft stuff, like earlier seasons, or other shows which I've been meaning to watch. But I also did get that PlayStation Extra, so I do have a bunch of cool games to try out on the PS5 now. So I'll definitely be doing that as well. So I got a lot on my plate for this year. Playing a bunch of PS5 games before I go off to school, and walking to the Farlands and playing in at SMP. It's gonna be a busy time. And of course there's actual work. A little bit of everything. Although all the no commentary should give me a lot of time to like binge stuff and watch series, especially if I plan on walking 1,000,000 blocks a month. It just seems a little crazy to me, although, yeah, no, it is crazy. I've walked 1,000,000 before, but that was also, like, even at my best, going off to school gets closer every day. Yes, the inevitability as time marches on. I remember at the beginning of the series, it felt like so long, so far away, because it was. Because I was like, oh, I have plenty of time, but now I'm like, oh. It's like just over 8 months away now. And my birthday is next month. I'm gonna be all old and stuff. Well, zombies. Spooky. The clouds are kind of cool. You can kind of see shapes in them if you pay attention to them a little bit. I don't see much in this one. Kind of just like a bunch of squares. Minecraft, wow. Don't really pay much attention to the clouds, but they do exist. They do exist. Oh, I haven't even checked my play time on Journey to the Farlands. Oh, I guess it would have been reset. Oh, that's annoying. 4 days, 7 hours. I don't even remember what it was before I lost all that data. It was a lot. It was like 17 days or something. I've definitely dawdled about a lot. I wouldn't say I'm the most efficient at walking to the Farlands, but who knew that the Minecraft clouds would be a bunch of squares? Yeah, it doesn't look like it. They look more like circles, really, but circles, ovals, oblong shapes. Who would have thunk it? I'm shooting off fireworks right now. People are still celebrating. No, it's like a holiday today. I get it. Everyone's like, woo, and I'm just like, yay, it's yeah, it's a different number. 50-50 chance. Or firing a gun. It's Texas, really. Could be both for all we know. A little bit of both. Best of both worlds. Hello, chicken. A little cold for a chicken to be living here, but it's like the reverse. Where's that burning skelly? Oh, gone. Okay, no, we're gonna stay on course for today's stream. Gonna be very very sharp with the accuracy, pinpoint accuracy for walking to the Farlands. No looking around at the scenery. If I'm not allowed to look at the scenery anymore, that's awful. I can still see it in front of me. It's kind of a cool thing over there. I don't even know what I'd call it. That weird the concavity in that. Oh, I looked away. Take away all the fun from Journey to the Farlands. What do you got left? Just mindless walking. Hey, isn't that what the series already is? Clearly I don't understand my own series. You'd think I'd have a good understanding of it after this long, but I'm still at square one, I guess. It's not, I don't think this is really something you get better at over time. Maybe like at the beginning, but honestly, this series has been unchanged since it started. Other than like little quality differences and maybe habitual things I've changed. Like, of course, the introduction of the hidey hole and not mining for cobblestone. Like, mining for cobblestone was something I did so often. Even in like the first episodes of the series, I think I'd still be doing mining breaks, which is something I don't really do anymore. I just do the hidey holes now. It seems to work a bit better. I'm not sure in terms of like efficiency, but seems okay enough. I'm sure it adds up and really is the same thing as mining breaks, but I don't really know. I'm not really good at this efficiency thing. Alright. The boat isn't cooperating. I can like surf. You see that? Surfing. That's what I'm doing. I'm surfing. Surfing on a flat body of water. Isn't that funny? Oh, and then my surfboard crashes. How far have I gone this episode? Actually, I should record. I forgot to record my coordinates from last episode, so I'm going to do that now. I think I was going to at the beginning of the episode, and I just got immediately distracted, as I tend to do. Let's see. So that was 3 days ago? What day? The 29th. Yeah, okay, that was actually the 29th then. Sometimes I stream at like right before midnight and then it says it's the day after, but we're good. $4,783,613 to. It'd be like a very small. Oh wait. Why did I write the 28th? I don't know. It's a short episode. Oh. Oh, maybe I just didn't record my coordinates for that episode, because I think it might be the same as the one before it. Well, no, it's 50 to. No, it's right. You do be right. 78 to 83. Okay, I don't know. Well, that was streamed on the 20. Oh, it released on the 29th, which means it was probably the 28th. Ah. Okay, that makes sense. I don't understand stuff, apparently. Guess I'll craft some more crafting, or some more boats. I don't need any more crafting tables. My inventory's been a bit of a mess for a long time. I'll do spring cleaning around springtime. You kid, but it's kind of true that I just don't understand stuff. There's just some stuff that just doesn't make sense. Yes, that's kind of the point. There we go. I just need to. My New Year's resolution should be being nice all year. Well, it's just gonna make the rest of the New Year's resolutions then that everyone makes. Not true. Not capable of that. Yeah. That's what I thought. Oh, I didn't even. No, it's fine. I don't need the extra bed. I gotta sleep. There we go. I didn't celebrate New Year's in Jerry the Farlands this year. I celebrated it last year. I did the Outpost stream. I found Outpost 1 a year ago, exactly now. Ooh. The first base I built on this world. Pretty crazy. Nice little slice there. I'll take a nice picture. I'll wait before I hit the shore. There we go. Maybe my New Year's resolution should be to stop taking F3 pictures. But then I won't know where that random hill was 500 days ago. I don't think I've done this for 500 days. Well, maybe. Like, I have to actually think about that. No, I won't do the math right now. Let's just assume I did. You'd be like, oh, why isn't there 500 episodes? Because you did an episode a day. Well, I will be quiet. Because there was about 100 episodes I missed out on, and I'm sure last year there was just around 100 days that I didn't do any episodes, so maybe even more than that, like at this point. So if I can manage to do daily episodes this year, go back to that daily schedule, I'd be quite amazed. Okay, I didn't even mention homework. I gotta do that too this week. It's gonna be a busy week for me. Although starting tomorrow, I'll do homework tomorrow. I'll procrastinate it. 11 p.m. is too late to do homework. Come on. Definitely not like well, yeah, I was kind of a late start to things. I finished a show and all that. I was given no homework over Christmas break. I technically wasn't, but there's a bit of a gray area with like previous work that I didn't do. Actually, there was technically some stuff that they're just like, you should work on this. I'm like, oh, you say I should work on that. Probably means you're not really going to be very lending with time in the new year. So that basically just means I should do it. Because end of semester is just finals. And I didn't have to take finals. Oh, lucky you. But we don't have finals. We just have exams. Well, I guess that's what you mean, but I don't know if there's like, if finals is actually something different though. I don't know the American schooling system. Very unlike me. Yeah. And the finals just sounds so like scary. It's like I don't know, something about there's something about hearing the word finals that like awakens a primal fear. And when I hear exams, I'm like, oh, that's just I guess it's probably just because no one refers to what we do as finals. Just like, oh, exams are coming up. Like, okay, and it's like finals are coming up. I go, holy, I gotta pack up and get out of here. Upperclassmen can be exempt from finals if they have a high enough grade or haven't been absent too many times. No, yeah, like where I am, you don't get it. Well, I think maybe certain schools you might, but like at least at my school, you didn't get exempt from exams. Like anyway, if you took like a certain level, like if you took if you took college level courses, then you wouldn't have exams. Like plain and simple, college classes, most of them just didn't have exams, or if they did, they would not be. They'd be a far cry from one. I'd say far cry, but it wouldn't be too big of a difference. It wouldn't be as crazy as university level. Although university level classes are kind of a joke because they don't really they're meant to prepare you for university, but they don't really do that completely. People always joke finals week or my final week. I don't know. I hear finals and I'm just like, damn, it just sounds a lot more foreboding than exams or like the end of the semester. Although I guess in like college, finals is a bit more of like a standardized way of saying. I'm sure that's a bit more standard. But it feels like everything's a lot more grandiose, probably because it is. Coming from someone who really has no idea of the trauma that a post-secondary will inflict. Doesn't have a full, complete grasp of that concept. Probably because I haven't done it. 89. Pretty good, actually. Well, it's about 50 minutes. I've gone about 6,000 blocks. Really nice. Only, well, 24,000 blocks. Or 26,000, I guess, if I want to reach 32k blocks today. Yeah, 26,000 blocks before I go to bed. Sure. Yeah, this is gonna fall apart very quickly if you can't tell. Or one thing I could also do is just break up episodes, like not even like I guess like film multiple episodes a day kind of thing, like one episode before I go to work, one episode after work, like just start to get creative with it, with like free time and stuff. I did that a long time ago, back before I streamed the series. For the most part, I would play like before work, and then I'd come back home from work and play after that. So I could do that. That could work. Compensate a little bit rather than doing like one long episode, just split into a few smaller ones. But I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. The quote-unquote infinite terrain of beta 1.7.3. I'm enjoying it currently. 4.79 million blocks away. Soon to be 4.8 million. Honestly, 5 million is gonna be a cool million. It's not as cool as 6 million, because 6 million will actually reach 50%. 50% of the way to the Farlands. But that probably won't be until like next month. Next, at the end of next month, casually. If I do 1 million a month. If I don't do 1 million a month, it'll be like 5 years from now. I just gotta pick my poison. I'm very yawny. I slept in, but I guess I didn't get that much sleep because I was hanging out with Devin. We were chatting for a good few hours before bed, so maybe I'm just tired from that. Bit of a shorter day because I woke up. It's about. I got time. I could definitely push things a little bit today if I really want. Yeah, I slept in. Yeah, well, you're sick, so you get the till 9:30. Oh. Yeah, I'm a normal person. I slept until noon. Although sleeping during the holidays, I think is rather nice, but I probably should get back into the rhythm of things for school. I don't really care. It's too early. Yeah, even though I'm over halfway through the break already. That's like half your day gone. I don't care because that half goes into my night. I stay up to like 3 a.m. and I sleep. No, I'm just kidding. Well, actually, last night that was the case, but usually not. And plus, I don't see it as half my day when I'm asleep, so I don't understand how there aren't more morning people. I hate the morning. I like night. I'm pretty much nocturnal. Well, my thing is that I have so much trouble going to sleep that like I think I'd have to take sleeping pills to go to bed early. Seriously, like, well, like if like I just don't have the motivation to go to sleep early most nights. I'm more efficient at night, plain and simple. I stay up late sometimes too, but I only need like 6 hours of sleep. I don't know. When I get 6 hours of sleep, I just feel like a wreck. But I know you also drink coffee though, don't you? I don't drink coffee. I'm purely circadian over here. Although I would that would be a very loose circadian rhythm. I should add. I used to have extremely bad insomnia. I'd still be up at like 8. Oh, you don't drink coffee? I don't know. I don't got my sleep schedule figured out. I'm sure I could. Well, I might figure that out for school. Probably for the best. Just because you miss it doesn't mean it was good for you. I don't know. Although I've never tried either energy drinks or caffeine, so or I guess they both are based off the principle of caffeine, but I've never tried either. So I can't really attest to much. But I don't know. I'm just things seem fine for me. I get tired, but you know, it's just the way things are. And it's not like I'm not a morning person, because I can definitely work pretty well in the morning. It's just I'm just in like a bit of an exaggerated state during the night. Just seems a little bit unnatural. That's all I'm saying. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps we should depend on things like coffee and energy drinks to lead a normal life. Semi-normal, I should add, actually. Probably isn't like completely 100% normal. I don't know. Guess I just got a different view on things. That's fair. It definitely was unnatural. There are so many chemicals in Red Bull. And I'm not saying I'm good either, because I don't really follow my natural sleep cycle. Like I'm not really. But I had to quit cold turkey. It was terrible. Yeah, well you get like your body kind of depends on it after a while. It's kind of how it tends to be withdrawal. Yeah. It's like any kind of thing that your body kind of functions off of it, like incorporates it into the cycle. And then when you take it out, then everything starts to crumble a bit and kind of shift. Alright. Maybe I'll go grab my water. Get a little thirsty. Alright, got my water. I didn't make extra soup or stew, mushroom stew, but that's fine. I can get my hearts up later. Crazy water bottle. It's a new water bottle. It's just water bottle. Period. It's not the water bottle. I've used multiple different water bottles, different strategic water bottle choice, but this mic still picks up on it. Even with my noise suppression, maybe I just need to turn it up. I honestly don't really care though. I'll find it funny that occasionally you can occasionally hear me popping the cap. Oh, is this one quiet? Well, there's no like straw. I'm not like this one's strawless. I just pop the cap and then. And you can hear the little. You can hear that noise. I'm sure the little snap. That's just me closing the lid though. Gotta stay hydrated. You have that one. That's noisy. Yeah, the other one, yeah, like I said, it has like a straw because I pop the straw, like the thing up, and then it has a straw, so I suck and then pop it closed. So yeah, I'm just slurping out this one. I'm just drinking normally, like a glass, so it's a little bit better. I usually don't have like an actual like glass of water because it's just not enough water when I'm sitting down like this for an extended period of time. Although I've had a lot of water today, I've been very hydrated. I think I've just been better hydrated recently, which is nice. I think well, even without the streaming, I think the streaming keeps me. I'm not as hydrated due to streaming sometimes because I just sit down for long periods of time and I just forget to drink like I did for the last hour. But oh well. What a nice row of flowers. A nice array of flowers. God, I don't even want to say array because it reminds me of programming. I just dread programming. I can't wait to just never do programming again. Well, I mean, I might have to later on in school, but for now, I just want to be rid of it. I still got one more month of that class. 2.5 weeks when after I get back next week. So there's 2.5 weeks. So it's not gonna be the worst thing ever. I just have to catch up. Ugh. Gotten better at it. So I've stopped drinking soda and coffee and energy drinks. Yeah. I just recently noticed I've gone through a lot more water recently. I just like drinking water. It's not like it tastes good. You know, it doesn't really have a taste, of course. It's just nice to feel refreshed. And I think maybe figuring out that sleep schedule once and for all might be the last step to being properly not like all over the place. Might actually improve things for me a little bit with with respect to like efficiency and stuff. It just means that like the streams will shift around time wise, because I usually do it like later in the day is like the last thing I do in the day, and then that's also sometimes maybe why it creeps to like midnight and beyond. But maybe I'll start getting better about that and pushing the wake up earlier so that I don't just miss half the day, like you put it. Some water tastes better than other water. That is true. That is true. So it's probably just down to like the minerals or whatever chemicals is like minimal chemicals are in it, because they kind of have to have some kind of dechlorination or whatever, or some of it. Is there Sonic and Cat? I don't even know what that is, so I don't think so. There's Dasani. Well, actually, no, there isn't. I actually don't see Dasani anymore. Oh, that was Skilly. I should break out the bow, actually. There's I know Aquafina. There's this brand called Canadian Mountain. That one's pretty popular. No one really likes Aquafina, but people just buy it anyway because it's not really not good. I think there was Dasani at one point, but I haven't seen it. They have the best water. It's like a drive-in fast food. Yeah, I've never heard of it, so they have the best water. Interesting. Yeah, like I don't like the water at my school. Like it's just like different. Like well, I'm on a well, so it just tastes different. Like there's different minerals and stuff, so it tastes a bit more pure, I guess. I'm drinking like rock water essentially, I guess, but Dasani is the worst. Yeah, that's probably why I don't see it. Probably regulation around it. No, because I know the UK didn't sell it. They kind of banned it for a long time ago. I'm sure there's a lot of shady practice going on there. And there's like, of course, like Evian and like the Fiji and all that, like the more expensive waters and the smart water, which I don't even know how you can make water smart, but that remains to be seen. We don't have regulation in America. Yeah, there's some level of regulation in Canada, definitely. You can like get just about anything in America, though. I know, like that way, like food and stuff. Keep going. Freedom. Yeah, that's what freedom's all about. Being able to eat what you want, drink what you want, and then just die of health complications later on. Don't worry about it. Life's short, as they say. Why not make it shorter? So, what's a few Red Bulls gonna do? Hey, Cherry. No, I know people who drink energy drinks. I know people who drink coffee. So it's not like I don't know that kind of stuff, but I just don't do it. Used to drink like 3 a day. Wow. Well, I knew someone who drank like several. Not even several. Several is like a loose term. They drank like a lot of coffee a day. Like not just like a few mugs of coffee. It was like refills and stuff going on. Yeah, some people are just crazy for coffee. Some people are just coffee fiends, and then some people just, like me, I just don't drink any coffee. I haven't had a drop of coffee in my life. I think I maybe took a sip of it once, and I was just like, my body could be preserved from the chemicals. Yeah. It's just like the Black Dahlia murder, like it's just like covered in like chemicals. I think that's what that one was, where it was like the lady with covered in chemicals. Oh, there was also oh, what was the one with that I'm thinking of as well? There's like the oily one, but yeah, it's like that. You're just being preserved from like the own crap you eat, right? The all the toxic stuff. Oh well, you still can't escape that in most parts of the world anyway. Unless you're like eating just like animals, or, like crops, like most of the stuff you get anyways. Black Dahlia was split in half. Okay, so maybe it was. I'm trying to remember because it was a lady. I know Black Dahlia was split in half, but there was like, oh, I think it was the toxic lady. That's all it was called. That's an interesting murder case for sure. Yeah, it is the toxic lady. Yeah, no, that was, yeah, that's Black Dahlia is different, but yeah, the toxic lady was, yeah, like a lady who was just like secreted a bunch of, yeah, radioactive chemicals and toxic chemicals. And it ended up being, I think it was something that she consumed, which I guess connects back to what we were talking about. Something she consumed that like killed her. Yeah, pretty interesting case. Kind of mysterious. Because I think it was like the Black Dahlia really isn't that much of a murder or mystery though. It's just a Los Angeles police at the time were so corrupt that it didn't get solved. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they still are, but you didn't hear that from me. But I think the toxic lady thing was, I don't think what she consumed was inherently toxic. I think it was what it broke down into. I think it broke down into something that ended up being toxic. I think that's what it was. Maybe. I doubt you'd actually consume something toxic and not just hurl it up. Although it does happen, like poison and stuff, but... Usually that's kind of what you want to do with toxic stuff, is like hurl it up. That's usually what they do with like poison control and all that, but... Oh, it's only a 20. Okay, my first episode of Newcraft is only 28 episodes, which isn't too bad. Those are radioactive, I bet. Self-administering dimethyl sulfoxide as a treatment for pain, which converted into dimethyl sulfate, an extremely poisonous and highly carcinogenic alkylating agent. Yeah, it was self-medicating. That's what the running theory was. I don't think it was ever completely solved, but that was like the best theory they could come up with for it. It was quite mysterious, because I think the thing was like her rushing into a hospital or something, and then she just died soon after that. I think it was like about the hospital, or maybe I don't think her body was discovered. I think it was like in like an actual hospital that it all played out, because it had to do with like stomach pain or something. I don't remember. I'm not very up to date on it. It was a long time ago that I read on it, but definitely a unique case for sure. Not something you see every day by any means. Majoring in criminology next year, and cases like that are so cool. I don't know. Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. Yeah, criminology is kind of neat. That's what my mom did. It was criminology. So yeah, it's a cool degree. It is fascinating, all that kind of stuff. Even like of course, the unsolved ones too. Well, I guess that one wasn't technically solved. That was kind of like the best case that they could come up with, like the solution. But some of it's just like unsolved ones. Even some of the solved ones are even wacky, because the way they solve cases sometimes is really interesting. How stuff can be solved decades later. I think the Golden State Killer was one of them. Want to do forensic science or CSI? Oh, that's cool. I guess most of what I would say about it would be like preaching to the choir. I'm sure you are very in tune with a lot of that stuff. I like unsolved stuff, but I feel like a lot of the times it's because the cops messed up somehow. Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot of screw up. A lot of it's based in screw ups. Sometimes it is based on like the killer just being really clever, but it could be the combination of both. And that's not even my bias against them. It's just true. Yeah. No, mistakes happen. People being human and neglectful. Neglectful to certain aspects of cases and things. Yeah. Makes me so annoyed. Well, there you go. I guess you can go into criminology to actually get stuff done. Blast a hole in the hell, why don't you? A better motivation. See, exactly. Yeah, I understand. And I want to go into like the one thing that I was actually kind of interested in school, which is physics. Could never get I always thought chemistry was kind of cool, but then I realized what I found cool about chemistry is just such a little part of chemistry. Like it's just like the thing I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And that was like 0.5% of chemistry. Like most of it in actuality is like, meh. And like most science is like, eh. I'm like that guy that started working for some company, fixed what was bothering him on their website, then quit. Yeah, he just solved a bunch of cases and then he was like, I'm done. My brother's a physics major, he loves it. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be like a physics major. I think I want to be more on the engineering side, even though I don't want to become an engineer. Well, I don't know if I want to become an engineer. I might want to become an engineer. That's really what kind of frustrates me, is that I don't really know if I want to become an engineer or not, and that bothers me because I'm like, well, I'm going into engineering, I better like it, but I guess I could always take it elsewhere into different degrees, like PhD or whatever, because I also think it might be neat to become a prof, but also I don't really know if that's for me either. I think that might be a bit more up my alley than, I know, like in like research and stuff might be a bit more up my alley than, say, being an engineer, but I don't know. I know a little bit, but probably not enough. Maybe I'll do like co-op and stuff just so I can kind of figure out if I'm really into it. I also think engineering is a good degree because the engineers also get paid pretty well. In case I do, I'm like, oh, I make like hardly any money, then I could just make, okay, just become an engineer then. But I don't know. I still haven't fully made the decisions yet, and because of course I haven't been, I don't got all the results yet on everything for applications and things. So we'll see where things go, and if I go apply elsewhere too for other stuff. Although the one I've seemed to be most interested in is engineering physics, which is one I hadn't heard of before, which is basically just engineering and physics combined, which was like, oh, okay, that might be interesting. Rather than just going into something like physics. Maybe I'd love going into just straight up physics, but I don't know, everyone I've talked to about it is like, you should probably go a bit more broad. Yeah, it's all up in the air. I'm a bit more uncertain about things. I don't know exactly what I want to do. I just know generally what I'm interested in. Just a bit of the maths and the sciences. I know for sure that I'm not into like computers. Like, I think they're neat. I like games, but I don't think I could see myself actually making my own games or coding or anything. It's not my thing. I don't jive with it. And perhaps it's just down to mindset, but it just doesn't. I don't think it just. I kind of think it fundamentally just doesn't click on my head. So just some things just don't translate as easily. So I'm just, I get that. I wanted to be a vet for my entire life. I wanted to go into art for a while. I wanted to go into architecture, and I wanted to do all this stuff because I was a very creative kid as well. And I really wanted to do coding. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. I really wanted to be a game developer because I was like, oh yeah, I like designing things. I like playing games. I like all this stuff. And then I actually got into coding. Like, I tried to get into coding, I just couldn't. And even taking this class now, I'm like, oh, I just can't wait to be done with it. And I know most people are probably in that class being like, yeah, games, it's just so cool. But I'm just like, oh, I've had enough of it. Can't wait to never look at a line of code again. Or at least never like have to write a line of code. Well, it doesn't mean in my job that I won't be exploring coding, but I definitely, if I do explore it later in life, it won't be as like a major thing. It'll be as like, a means to an end. Like, okay, I kind of have to learn it now, kind of thing. Or it'd be really nice, it'd be a really beneficial thing. But for now, I'm just like, what a slog. And like pretty much everything else, like history, I don't hate history. I did well in it, but I never was able to do like the extra history classes. so I never really got into history just because I never got into any of the classes. A lot of them got canceled or whatnot, so I never did history beyond like a few years ago. So that was too bad that I only did like 1 year of history because it was actually kind of a fun class, but I wouldn't say I'm like a history buff per se. I just find it generally interesting every once in a while. And English, I don't think I had any real like disdains for any particular subject actually, other than maybe computer science. Even gym was like okay, like it wasn't great, but I could say that about a lot of subjects. Like they weren't great. Like at least with like math and science, I'm interested enough in like what I'm learning about that I could probably just soldier through the BS. I wish America had more history, but oh well. It has more history than Canada. If you're really like I know, I guess a lot of places in like Europe and Asia had a lot more history, and Africa, of course, but when I compared to Canada, like America had a lot of history. But yeah, I see what you mean though. English is one of my favorites. English was okay. Like I can do it for like 1 or 2 years in university, but I'm probably not gonna really. I don't really fall in love with the idea of English. I don't mind reading either. I don't really get in. I haven't gotten into reading, but I guess that's true. America is just better. What can I say? Okay, Cherry, whatever you say. Damn, fireworks are still going. We're really partying hard. One way or another. Maybe I should listen to my mind and body a little bit. My mind's kind of telling me to go to sleep. I'm like yawning a lot. I think it was just because I think I had a bit of a bad sleep last night on the couch with Devin. It was just, maybe you should go to sleep then. I know, I was just sleeping on like the short couch because Devin gets the long couch, so I got the short love seat. So I was just, I was miserable. Most of the night, actually, like a third of my body was like off the couch. Like I was just like extended, and then I kind of did like a fetal position, and that seemed to be a bit more comfortable. That was actually how I slept through most of the night, I think. And then I kind of woke up, and I went back to bed because I was just like, is Devin taller? Oh yeah, he is. He's a bit taller. Although I'd say Brody is the tallest out of all of us. Like even Devin is kind of frightened by Brody's height. Although I don't see Brody very often because he lives quite a ways away. Whereas Devin and I live in the same area. I think yeah, Brody like towers. he's pretty tall. And Devin and I, there's not actually like fundamentally I don't think there's too much of a difference in our height. Me and Devin. He's probably a bit taller than I am. Just a bit though. I usually just give him the longer couch anyway. But yeah, like last night I was like I should probably just do it in my sleep in my room, just put a cot out, but nope. Yeah, yeah, we're shapeless entities with no physical traits. Of course, yes, that's the way it's meant to be with the streaming. I can that just puts things in the scale a little bit for height, though, I guess. Well, not really. Oh, I'm so close to the next 100,000. This is how my mind operates. I'm like, it's just 5,000 blocks. It'll be like 12:30 by the time I'm done this. I'm efficient enough. Do I really want to go in an extra half hour? That's fine. I can go to 2 hours. I'll go to 2 hours. Okay, it's okay. I'm also just a cloud of void with no physical features. Yeah, that's what we all are on this online space. No real proof of our physical existence, which I'm actually kind of fine with. I think kind of happy that no one online needs to know. Can do it. Yeah. Maybe I won't break a new 100,000 right now. Maybe I'll just go to the 2 hours. I don't exist. Neither do I. What a world. It's just textbook psychosis. I used to have a friend who was really paranoid, so sometimes we'd try to convince her she was imagining all of us. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. It's lovely, really. Like we'd stop in the middle of a conversation and go wake up. That doesn't sound cruel at all. I swear I've heard something like that, something similar to that. I remember like one of the people I used to know made like they kept saying like I'm in your walls kind of thing, and like I think one of my friend would always be like say he has an uncle with schizophrenia. That was always just like the thing he'd say when this person says hey, get out of my head. It's like they're in your skin kind of thing. It's just like okay. It's like the same thing. It's just like saying that repeatedly. Although he also said that a lot, that friend, so she's fine. I'm sure she is. Alright, I'm kind of going sideways. Oh, the yawning again. Have you seen the Reddit story of the guy who got hit by a car, blacked out, and was in a coma where 25 years of his life passed, and he had a wife and kids and everything? Really? No, I didn't see that. Wow. That must be pretty crazy. Yeah, this is all just a coma. This is all just a little coma you had when you were a kid. And then you wake up and you're like, oh. And then he noticed a lamp that looked kind of funny, and it made him wake up and was only blacked out for like 5 minutes. Yeah, the mind. Yeah, me and Devin had discussions. I won't go into detail about what they were about, but I definitely remember mentioning, like, yeah, the mind is just a thing we know frighteningly little about. So, what do you even do to with yourself if that happens? Yeah. Well, it's like you don't. It's like nothing you could do. You just got, like, how would you know? Of course, he kind of knew after the funny lamp, but that's crazy though that you'd go like, oh, wow. Yeah, the mind is a scary thing. Cause like the coma is basically like the mind kind of like operating. It's like in like a limbo state where, like, of course, it's like you're repairing the body kind of thing. But like what your mind does during a coma is wacky. And like and there's like various types of comas too. Of course, there's like the ones where you're like fully aware of everything going on, and then there's ones where you're just like it's just like nothing. It's wacky. I'm not. Yeah, I definitely. Well, yeah, they are scary. Comas are scary. Oh. Is it? Oh, it's this coordinate I need to actually be a bit more keen on. I gotta delve into like coma stories because I'm sure there's a lot of like really crazy ones out there. There's something I'm like, oh yeah, those exist. And brains are cool. It's a fun. I have pictures of the inside of my brain. It's a fun show and tell item. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Don't want to fall in a hole. Yeah, but then I think a little too hard about the fact I had people digging around in there and then I feel violated. Yeah, that's interesting. Like I'm just saying, that's interesting. It's I don't really know. It's oh. Can't say I've had people digging around in my brain. You wouldn't like people in your brain, just saying. Yeah, that's probably about right. Sheepies. Yeah, I'll grab some more. Ooh, yeah, it'll be close. Actually, I probably won't. I'll probably be tomorrow that I actually crossed the 100K, which I'm fine with. I don't feel like staying up. Now that sleep schedule discussion, it's like, maybe I should actually sort my life out. I could sort my sleep schedule. Wonder what else I could sort out. It's like a good first step. You know what's scary? Robots. Oh yeah? I guess robots are a little spooky. I played Detroit Become Human and I want no part in robots. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Detroit does teach, it does show a lot of insight into the world of robots being a thing. It's freaky. I think things like Detroit Become Human, FNAF, actual robots teach you about why we probably should not have robots and let them control our lives. A robot attacked someone the other day. Really? How'd that play out? I know there's like those robot cop things, but at a Tesla. Oh, it was a Tesla factory. Wow, in Texas. That's something. A Tesla, a robot attacks an engineer at company's Texas factory during. Oh, it's quite interesting. Indeed. Why is it always Texas? Can I catch a break? No, apparently not. Apparently your people. Apparently the people in Texas just love to. Apparently just. It's not even just the people. It's just. It's just chance now. I'm sure the people don't help, but just bad luck. People definitely don't help. Oh yeah, that's for sure. This is why I'm moving out of here. Going back to the journey to the Farlands, I realized how much or like I realized that I probably wouldn't function in this world very well without using F3 like as frequently as I do, because often that's how I catch myself. I have the compass, but I guess if you didn't have F3 you'd check the compass, but I just would like go astray so much. I do. And sometimes I think the worst one was when I went like an entire episode just like it was it was so bad. It was so bad. Oh, what would be fun would be maybe in Farland Anniversary in August or something. I should do like a reaction to some of my old videos, or maybe like a special I can figure out. I should react to some of like the Journey to the Farlands episodes. I don't know if I'll watch them in full. I mean, if I do like a marathon, might be kind of a fun way to pass the time, but there are no robot attacks in Minnesota, I can say. You've done your research. Well, probably not. Probably not a freak accident like that in Minnesota. Minnesota's nice. I've been there quite a bit. It's like the only state I frequently visit. Semi-frequently, I should say. I don't visit it all the time, but slowly veer off, yeah. I do. I'm sure the diagonal walking doesn't help either. I feel like if it was like a straight line, like it was in the beginning of my journey, it would be a bit easier. But the fact that I'm going diagonal and all sorts of things are throwing me off all the time, I often switch direction like that. Yeah, the F3 menu is just nice. It's nice. I don't really care about the mystique of not knowing where I am. I'm just like, whatever. Helps me figure out when I'm getting to the Farlands. I'm not as bothered about like knowing where I am constantly. I mean, sure, not knowing where you are, not knowing when you'll reach the Farlands is kind of a wacky thing, but oh, I might need to enjoy some foods, some food items. Maybe I'll see if I can find some pigs or something. Could make stew actually. Yeah, well, that is pretty easy. Well, I gotta make more beds anyway. I've used all my beds. Six beds and however many other boats. Right. Actually, I'll eat this and then I'll make another one. See, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at this. Oh, I'm so close. Do I do another day? Another day might just be enough to reach the next 100,000. So maybe I'll do it just to spare the cliffhanger. It's like it's like me on the finale, just like being like about to reach the Farlands. I'm like, tune in next time. Do like an 11-hour stream. Tune in next time for the Farlands. It's like $500 or something. It's like it's not the way to do it. We'll do one more day. Hopefully that'll be enough. Or I'll be exactly like what I described just now. I'll be like just this close and I'll have ended the episode. 12:30. I guess I did go to 12:30. Cliffhanger episode would be crazy. It'd be funny. April Fools. Oh gosh. One of my ideas, I think my idea for an April Fool's episode was like to be like back at spawn, just pretend like nothing happened. But I did before Journey to the Farlands, which kind of ruined that. And April Fool's already passed last year with no April Fool's episode, so I don't know what I'd even do for an April Fool's episode. I could like do like reaching spawn or something do like I'm like the episode starts with I'm like walking and then I like reach spawn. I don't know. April Fool's episode is kind of like a funny thing for me, or a funny idea to do. It's just something that's like kind of a one-off, just for fun. So maybe I'll do one this year, before I get to the Farlands. Assuming I get to the Farlands this year. Please. I don't want to be doing this my whole lifetime. I just know that everything's gonna slow down after like 8 months from now, so just imagine how it's been like the past year and just slow that down even more. It's gonna be how it's gonna be. Gonna be how it's gonna be. Just turn around and start heading back. I'd probably do I mean, yeah. That'd be funny. Although that's literally just what I do in day-to-day episodes of Journey to the Farlands. I literally just turn around randomly. And then just I'm like, oh crap, I've been walking the wrong way for like the past half hour. And I just shake it off like nothing happened. Be like, dang it, I forgot my whatever. Yeah. I just start the episode, I do like a half hour of walking, and then I'm like, oh crap, I forgot my, like a piece of gunpowder from the spawn base that doesn't exist anymore. Spawn will exist in spirit. The spawn base. And Christ, I did the spawn base twice. I did it in the regular Journey of the Farlands, and I did it in before Journey of the Farlands, and both of those worlds got lost. I'm kind of glad before Journey of the Farlands got lost, because that was just a waste of time. Sure, I'm missing out. You're missing out on like 100 episodes of Journey of the Farlands, but like, who cares? I don't. And that's kind of the big deciding factor in a lot of this. People can poke and prod all they want, be like, oh, you didn't film, but but I don't really care. I know I walked that distance, so that's all. That's enough for me. Like, it's like, oh, you started at 1 million blocks. Where's the first million? Yeah, like I said, I don't really care. It's my series. It's my channel. It's what I'm interested in. So, just how things ended up being. I remember leaving spawn. This is kind of a new discussion because I don't think I've mentioned this before in like the whole almost year and a half of the series. But I remember leaving spawn and being like, oh yeah, I could go back now. It's not that far of a trip back because it's like double the way, of course. So I was like, I'm like only like 1,000 blocks off spawn. I could turn around now and go back home if I leave something, or if I'm like, oh, I should do this differently. And then I was like 100,000 blocks. I'm like, okay, we're getting a little further. That's like a 200,000 block round trip. And then as time went on, I was like, well, of course I kind of threw that idea out of the question about going back anyway. And of course, here I am now at almost 5 million blocks. I'm like, oh, no, heck no, I'm not turning around. There's nothing to see at spawn anymore anyway. I know the easiest way to get there is to just kill myself and just jump into a cave and get slain by a bunch of spiders or skeletons and whatnot. And then I'm right back at spawn. Which I'm right back at my previous bed, and then I'm back at spawn. Or if it was the old Journey of the Farlands before I moved the torches, then I would be back at spawn because the torch would actually overwrite the spawn point. Yeah, that was a funny story for like a long time in the journey. I placed the torch in the wrong spot on the bed. So like I did it, I'll just do a demonstration of how I did it. I did it like this. This is how I used to do it. There's a bit of an issue here because there's no respawn point. I actually, in the episodes, I would respawn on a bed. I would respawn on the bed and I'd be like, okay, I'll continue on. But then someone was like, if you die, you just end up back at spawn. I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're like, you can just change the place of the torch. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And from there on, I haven't gone back to spawn since from dying. That only happened a few times early on, and I just got back from backups and whatnot. Worked my way back. It's like a road trip when you forget something and debate if the drive back is worth it. Yeah, that's basically what it was. It was basically from spawn. I'm like, I don't have enough diamonds. It's like, should I go back and get more? I don't think I actually considered it. I think I was kind of just entertaining the idea. Like I was just joking about it. Like, oh, I could turn around right now, and it's not that big of a walk. But I could turn around right now, and it's like another 250 episodes back. 350. because you're adding another 100 or however long it would take. Although going to the Farlands, apparently to me that is around the same amount of time, 250 episodes. Well, it might be more because I might do double episodes, longer episodes, all of this sort. So who knows? Who knows? Oh, will I pass it? It might be close. Might be close. I remember the first 100,000. I walked during the nighttime to actually reach it. Reached 100,000. I just was like, I don't feel like sleeping. I just didn't place my bed in the world that night, and I kept going for a while, and then I was like, okay, we're at 100,000. I can place my bed now. I think that was also the end of the day though too. So like I was like, I don't want to do another day. It was basically like how it is streaming now, where I'm like, okay, I'll just do another day. I mean that wouldn't have gone. I could have gone the whole overnight. Well, I guess it could have worked, but I would have had to walk like the whole night, which is like pointless. Only further risk. And yet I still walk during the night sometimes in this world. Although most of the time mobs aren't too bad at night, funnily enough. If you're like constantly moving, they hardly get the chance to spawn. Oh, I'm gonna get in a boat. Well, that'll speed things up a little. Come on. Come on, speed up. It's not working. There we go. Now we're getting speed. Not real. Oh, a little bit. Do some surfing. Dun, dun, dun. I just imagine like the surfing music. I don't know what else to call it other than like surfing music. Big Wave Beach, PVZ2. You know what I mean. Or like pretty much any surfing scene in a movie would have like that stereotypical like music. And bing, oh, I missed it just by a few blocks. Well, I hardly even capture most of the 100,000 block crossings because they happen so much. Gosh, they just happen so much, 10 times a month. There's a new 100,000. Bravo, I did it. I can end the episode now. It just ends it mid-boat ride. Yeah, I just like start the episode, I'm in a boat. What the hell? That'd be like the most confusing start. So I get confused when I start in a tree sometimes, let alone a boat. Imagine if I just like started it like while I was like on like my last heart or something. Just like, okay, that's the end of the episode, folks. We're getting like shot at by like 3 skeletons or whatever. That's what I call a cliffhanger. Find out next time if I die. I definitely do. Okay, let's do our bed and I can wrap this up. Righty. Well, I guess that's it. Show's over, folks. Time to go home. But thank you though for everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you folks in